What's better than this? Guys being dudes.
This podcast contains language and themes of an adult nature and is intended for a mature audience. Hello and welcome to the Busted Barstools podcast. You are joined by myself, the Sasquatch, the coach, the doctor, and a man in rare form. It's Beric. How are we, gents? We all good? We good weekend?
Fantastic, yeah. Before we get cracking, a small little story. A guard pulled me over during the week, or stopped me at a checkpoint. He didn't really pull me over. I won't reveal the guard's name because confidentiality and all that, but we'll call him Dusty, right? So guard Dusty pulls me over, and he says, looked at my tax, which is out in September, since September. He says, I'll have your car turned into a can of 7-Up by the end of the week. And he actually saw I was playing the podcast on my phone when I was pulled over. And he just wanted to say that the Sasquatch, he really enjoys the Sasquatch's voice. And it's a very dulcet tone, was the word used. So, look, you're doing something right, Sas, so keep it up.
And how is your car now?
Hello and welcome to the Three Busted Barstools. You're joined by the Sasquatch.
So thanks, Garda Dusty.
Yeah, whoever that fictitious guard is. How's his girlfriend, Figment? Well, we've a lot to get through.
Some fucking start that, wasn't it?
Jesus Christ.
Bit of heat straight out of the traps.
Yeah,
Like to see.
another long one, gents.
What a fucking weekend, guys, huh? Am I right? Am I right?
Yeah, unless you're an Irish soccer fan.
Yeah, but who
Yeah,
cares?
yeah.
We don't. Who cares?
Let's.
I think I'm gonna go full. I'm gonna throw it out here now, and I'm gonna go full Jack Grealish, and I might just fucking switch it. Even.
Wow.
Scary.
A lot to get through tonight. I suppose we're still sticking with the same segments. It's going to be out the traps. First is the worst. It's going to be myself. Obviously, the NBA draft is this Wednesday, so I'm going to be breaking that down for you. Following on from that, the doctor is up with the doctor's orders. He's going to run through all the GA action that took place over the weekend. Might have a quick break. Following on from that, the coach will be up with his good, bad and ugly, giving us his take on the week that's been. And finally, last but by God not least, it's going to be Beric. And I think there might have been a fight this weekend, and he might, I don't really know, is there much happening in the world of fighting this weekend? He might let us know.
Not a lot, mate.
Not a lot. Okay.
Nothing huge. No.
In other news, fans on our Instagram may have noticed that we have yet another fan giveaway taking place. Another £60 gift voucher for USA Sports, just in time for the Christmas period. So, in order to enter, all you need to do is just in the comments tag 2 friends, send us in your best fan question, and tune in, and hopefully your question will be played. To kick us off and to get down and dirty, the first man in the hat is Martin from Mallow.
Hello, Martin. I'm Mallow.
How you doing, lads? It's Martin here, Martin from Mallow. Just a question in relation to the soccer team there. They lost 3-0 against England. Roy Keane slated them for having no fight there after the game. Do you think that was harsh? And where is this Irish team at the moment? And where are they going to go going forward? You know, Kenny hasn't done much with them so far. Barely scored a goal.
It's a very nasally accent, the Cork one, isn't it?
It's absolutely bloody lovely, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just.
Yeah.
It's very hateful accent, isn't it? It's like a county of people who are bitter about something.
Bitter about Irish football, but it sounds of it.
Yeah.
Well.
I
tell you what, coach, you're on form as well. I like this. I'm gonna throw this over the coach. Coach's gonna slam it home.
I suppose there's not a lot to say.
I didn't watch it. Huge lie. I watched the England match. I didn't watch the match today.
Yeah.
They lost today.
Yeah,
Did they?
1-0 to Wales, yeah.
We don't have the players, guys. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
We don't.
The only reason I'd be critical of Kenny is he's trying to play an open, expansive game with the players we have, and you don't have these players.
Yeah, but it's probably better to just fucking, like, would you rather lose 1-0 or 3-0? That's how you have to look at it, like, because I'd rather them play decent football and lose 3-0 than play absolute stink football and lose 1-0.
If you looked at the England game, they were all over them like a rash for the first 20 minutes, and then as soon as England scored, the heads dropped because they knew we can only score one goal.
Well,
do you know what I always find with Irish football is, like, these players that play kind of week in, week out for Premiership teams, they make simple mistakes. Like, it's like when they're playing for Ireland, they just switch off, and it's like Shane Duffy there in the England game was appalling. Like,
he is struggling though. He's been dropped from Celtic as well. Like, he is just in a poor stretch.
Maybe not the best example, but Jeff Hendrick wasn't brilliant for the first goal. Probably could have closed down. Was it the first or second? Sancho? Was that the first goal? Second goal?
second.
Second goal, maybe.
Harry Maguire was the first.
Jeff Hendrick probably could have got out to Sancho a little bit quicker, realistically, and for Burnley he probably would have.
The problem is, look, I wouldn't go getting rid of Kenny, and I'm sure some of the Irish media and some probably uneducated fans possibly may call for it, but obviously what everything he's done leading up to now, with whether excuse me, be Dundalk or with the 21s, has been, you know, it's been good work. But the one thing I'd question, so we've 7 losses in 6 games, or 7 games without a win and 6 games without scoring. So I just, like, the 21s obviously lost today, which puts an end to any kind of chances of us being in a major tournament. Then the seniors called up 5 of the under 21 players. So I don't know if that's, I said it on Twitter earlier, I don't know if that's poor management or it's showing signs of the process. I'm not 100% sure, because if you look at Moise Keane for Italy, he's still in the 21s. He's doing outstanding at club level, but they're not bringing him up. He's staying with the 21s. Like, if Darragh O'Shea, Malumbi, you know, Adamida were playing for the 21s today, I'm sure they would have had a much better chance of going through. Like they did, they lacked a little bit of something just to get a goal or whatever. They dominated the play. With the senior team, it's definitely a work in progress. I definitely think he's going to get the whole World Cup qualifying campaign. I don't think there's, like, internally there's going to be any pressure on him until we see what he does there. But I think I've said on the show before, I just think Kenny is probably, the coach that he is probably more suited to club football. And I think you can see that. He needs time. He needs to work on processes and game plans. And international football is very much a results business. You know, like, we're missing strikers, but yet Shane Long wasn't, and I know he's building for the future, but Shane Long wasn't in the squad. So once Adamida was worn out, we didn't really have another option. You know, and he's the perfect player to drag players up with him and teach the players around him after the career he's had.
Oh yeah, I said this to you, I think we were speaking during the week, when you actually texted in saying that Shane Long was out. When's the last time Shane Long scored a goal for Ireland?
Probably the Germany goal. But we don't have, the point I'm making is we don't even have another striker that's scoring or not scoring. We've James Collins who's playing for Luton, like.
But like, you may as well play yourself up there. Like, you'd score as many goals as Shane Long.
Yeah, but
do you know what I mean? Like, it's like I've gone off. Like, Shane Long just needs to be just sent out to pasture. He scored that lovely goal against Germany, and we all had a lovely time. But it's like you said, it's a results business, and Shane Long is not the man that you're going to get in there, like, to score. It's like McGeady and like Glenn Whelan and these fossils that are still just fucking mainstays in the Ireland setup.
They're not been for over a year.
No, but like, say until last year, like, do you not think that Glenn Whelan and McGeady were there far longer than they should have been?
Yeah, well, Glenn Whelan's last game was October 2019. Like,
that these people shouldn't have been there.
But I think there is an issue in actually having the players, like, as in actually having 30 players.
Well, particularly
that
at this
can play
moment
football.
in time with COVID as well.
Yeah, like, I think I know what both Berwick is saying about having Shane Long in the squad, and I know what you're saying in that, like, we actually don't have any other striker to physically put on the plane as such at this stage. Like, it's scary the lack of quality we have. True.
Yeah,
False.
true. I
Yeah,
reckon
it's just the
true,
depth. The depth at centre forward just isn't there.
Yeah, it's scary.
Did you see? Did you see the San Marino player that got interviewed there the other day, who burst out in tears because
Two
they hadn't
games.
lost in 2 games in the
History.
first time
2-0
in their
draws.
history?
Yeah.
We need to take a fucking leaf out of their book, because our fucking expectations are like 2002 World Cup level when we are San Marino 2016 level.
Probably comes a
Do you
little
know
bit
what I
back to
mean? Like,
what we were saying about rugby last year. We probably have too high expectations.
Yeah,
Yeah.
probably. Yeah, probably. But like, I don't think we do have too high expectations for the football, like, because, like, I know personally, and you know yourself, when you turn on the Ireland match, you're not getting
Yeah.
a good game and an Ireland win. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's the hope
you're-
that kills you. Because every time you switch them on, it's like, I know. And then they play the first 10 minutes, like against England. First 10 minutes, they were brilliant. And you're like, this is positive. Today is the
Well,
day.
look,
And
there's
then
no
the first
doubt
goal
about it.
goes
There's
in,
definitely
it's like-
been positives from the last couple of international
Yeah.
meetings. There's definitely
Yeah.
like we're definitely playing better football, but the problem is getting the ball in the back of
Yeah,
the net.
the end product.
And defensively, I know Duffy's had, his father died and he's had a rough time in Glasgow, but it's just not good enough. We don't even have a goalkeeper that starts for their club. Our 3 goalkeepers in the squad, well, 2 of them, what? Like they're all second or third choice. So no, I'm not. Randolph's been great. He's been a great servant, and he's made some excellent saves today as well. But it's just where we are, unfortunately.
Yeah.
I think in time, when you get to this World Cup campaign, Duffy might still be there or whatever, but I think you're probably looking at O'Shea starting regularly. You've got Masterson in the 21. Like, there is people there, but they just need to. There's players there. Just need time.
I thought he played well actually against England.
Yeah.
Man, O'Shea. Thought he was very good. Aaron Brown as well.
Alan
Is it
Brown,
Aaron Brown?
Yeah.
Alan Brown. Alan Brown.
Yeah.
He played well as well, I thought.
Then he got a belt of COVID.
Yeah.
Yeah. Horgan wasn't desperate.
Horgan was good, but again,
That's it. Like, he was
Yeah,
he was
like,
okay.
ideally,
Like,
you're not picking
you
Horgan,
don't
you're picking-
want to be building
yeah,
a team
exactly.
around him though, do you? Like,
Should we tip on?
yeah.
I think the less said about this topic.
Thanks, Martin from Mallow.
Yeah, thanks,
Thanks,
man.
man. Great question. And you're the first name in the hat. So it's obviously over the course of this episode 11, and the series finale. We're getting to the business end of the
Business end
season.
of the season already.
So I suppose we may kick it into the segments. Coach, are you ready to start the clock?
I am indeed, Sasquatch.
Perfect.
You are on
Um,
the buzzer. Let's go.
Perfect. So this Wednesday night, obviously, is the NBA draft. I personally find it to be one of the more interesting of all the drafts. So obviously, you've got a draft in your 4 major American sports league, but you also have one in the AFL. The reason it's that little bit more interesting is the NBA draft lottery, which I'll get to in a minute, and the second is it's only 2 rounds and it's only 60 picks. So arguably, well, what should be the case is every franchise should have 2 picks. But that's not the case with trades and stuff. So you've far more scope to make a blunder and not reap the benefits. But effectively, the first pick this year is Minnesota Timberwolves, heavily tipped to pick LaMelo Ball of the Illawarra Dragons in Australia. If his brothers are anything to go by, I don't know if that's a good choice. Then obviously a scary thought for everyone is Golden State Warriors, the second pick. And then it's Charlotte, Chicago, Cleveland, Atlanta, Detroit, New York Knicks, Washington and Phoenix are the top 10. I won't bore you with the other 50 picks, who has them. But interesting to note, the Houston Rockets do not have a trade as a result of the trades for Russell Westbrook. And I think the 14th pick is the Boston Celtics as a result of a trade with the Memphis Grizzlies. So you can kind of see how it starts to move around a little bit, and it's not as set as it should be. How the lottery, I suppose, works is you 14 teams that fail to make the playoff. They're all put into a lottery, but it's rigged as such, for want of a better word. So the team with the worst record has a higher chance of getting the number 1 pick, but they're not guaranteed the number 1 pick. So basically, I think your number 1 pick can get picks 1 to 5, 2 can get picks 1 to 6, and so on and so on and so forth. Obviously, I think the maths behind it all, the number 1 pick has a 14%. The worst side, the previous season has a 14% chance of getting the number 1 pick, with the 14th worst side having a 0.5% pick. 0.5% chance of the pick. Interesting to note, obviously when you get around to your drafts, something that always tends to come up is your draft busts or your dodgy picks. I think we all might have one in mind, but just kind of the top 3 of recent times. Obviously, Cleveland Cavaliers would have drafted Anthony Bennett 2013, heavily picked to be a huge success in Cleveland. I think LeBron had gone to Miami at that stage, so he was touted as the saviour for the Cleveland franchise. 4 seasons, I think it's something like 25 games, an absolute not a bust. Number 2, Greg Oden, 2008 pick or 2007 for Portland. Injuries wrecked his career. He had 5 seasons, didn't probably make it. And then interesting one for you, Jay Williams, drafted in 2002 by Chicago Bulls in the void left by Jordan. Obviously, heavily picked to be the saviour for Chicago. He had a fantastic opening rookie season, but was involved in a motorbike accident and wrecked his knees. Violation of his contract, so he wasn't actually paid the remainder of his contract. But I suppose it got me thinking then, with draft busts, etc. A question for the group: who is the biggest letdown in the history of sports, and why is it Jose Antonio Reyes?
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Yeah. R.I.P. indeed.
I thought he was a good footballer.
He
No?
was,
footballer
but I
as
mean,
well,
as an
actually.
Arsenal fan, he just showed so much promise, and then he just kind of
Faded
faded
off into
into the
the
background.
background,
And then there was that thing with Real Madrid, which you don't envy anyone, but he never lived up to the promise. So I suppose, like that goes across so many sports. There's all these players that, Jesus, when they were young and up and coming, you thought he's going to be phenomenal, or you heard this wonder kid, and I was wondering who your
Yeah.
biggest letdown,
Like Freddie
is.
Adu.
Freddie
Freddie
Adu,
Adu is a massive one.
soccer
Yeah,
manager
that's
hero.
Depends on what sport you're looking at. If you're looking across, like, you could probably do a top 3 across all the sports. Do you remember Jamarcus Russell for the Raiders, the quarterback?
There's a
He was meant to be. He was unbelievable in Madden.
yeah.
He was the only quarterback in Madden that had 99 throw power, which was the only stat that you couldn't get better. He was the best quarterback. In
There
the
was a
game.
brilliant story about him. He was given a heap of videotapes to bring home and watch, and they asked him like what was on it, and he started like spoofing for 2 minutes straight, and then they go, "Oh, really? Yeah, we might watch over that back," and just blank tapes. So he wasn't watching tapes, he wasn't even trying to. He just meant to be so lazy, like.
One of my mates who was actually listening to the friend of the show, as always, listens to the podcast. He actually texted me whenever week we were talking about Megatron as going first in the draft. Megatron went second.
Okay.
And Jamarcus Russell went first that year,
Which shows you.
and which shows you how like highly touted he was, and he was just dog shit. Then I'm surprised he didn't mention Markel Fultz from the.
Because he's still in the league, I suppose. The players I picked they're done. Like they've
yeah, the
times.
Well,
He will
is-
be.
He is done.
He will be.
I think you're a bit dismissive of LaMelo Ball. I think he is going to rip the league up, and
I'm just looking at precedents set by his brothers. Is all I'm saying. I said it's a potential for a bust.
I think with Lonzo Ball, I think he's probably a really, really good, outstanding athlete, model professional. I think the problem is that
Yeah.
he's just been built up and built up and built up. Had he not, and he just come on the scene, would the Lakers have picked him? Maybe not.
The problem with so what was the brother that's in? It's Lonzo. Yeah, it's his style of play. He's a point guard who likes to play for assists, but we're moving towards a perimeter shooting league. So he came into the league 10 years too late. If that makes sense.
Yeah, I think
he does what Rajon Rondo does.
Melo's a good shooter though.
LaMelo, yeah,
he's good though. He's not great.
Yeah,
He,
and
he likes
like
to go to the hall.
he hasn't come through college either. He's gone Lithuania and he's coming from Australia. So there'll be question marks there.
Yeah, I think I could still think we could see Mello at someone outside of the top 4 picks. I think trades could be done. I know the Knicks were highly touted at initially with maybe trading up with Golden State. It'd be fascinating to see him at Golden State, but I can't with Steph and with Clay. I don't think he's gonna fit there at all.
No, he'll upset the apple cart too much, and not him specifically. His dad will, and they just won't have it. Like they'll come in and they'll be telling Steph and Clay that like they need to pass more to him or something. Do you know what I mean? They'll be laughed at.
For those of the listeners that don't know the Ball family, they've got a Facebook TV series, or a Facebook series, not like the TV out, but
All in the family.
yeah, they're kind of the father is kind of LeVar Ball is kind of out there.
We're essentially the Kardashians of the sports world, aren't they? Like it's crazy.
But it's kind of like
having said that, I don't mind the kid. I don't mind the kids.
The kids
like,
have always.
I don't really have an issue with Lonzo, Mello, or
D'Angelo.
Jello's the other one.
Yeah, he's in the G League.
Jello,
He's in the
yeah.
G League. No one talks about him.
OKC
Yeah.
Blue.
Yeah, like I've no real issue with any of the kids. It's just the dad is a knob, like, and he just doesn't.
Just as well, something to bring up. Sorry, just when you said OKC, I meant to actually bring this up earlier. OKC, because of the trade work they've done over the last couple of years, they have. You know what they were saying? It's 2 rounds, 60 picks. In the next 6 years, they own 15 picks.
Wow.
Like it's mental. So,
But
they're set up.
It's kind of like
Yeah,
Bitcoin,
they do
isn't
right.
it? They're just building up a little bit of a currency, and they'll probably look for
They'll
players.
trade it again. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting now with this, with how it's looking in Houston. Like they're going to blow it up, because there's going to be draft picks thrown left, right, and center, and yeah, it couldn't have come at a more interesting time.
Yeah, it's a funny one, that isn't it, with Westbrook and Harden.
I don't think Harden will go. No, he's been rumored to go to Philly.
Yeah,
Not a hope, because Murray said he was taking a leave, didn't want to be involved in basketball anymore. A month later, he's at Philadelphia. I don't think if you're the owner or the new incumbent GM, you can allow Harden to go to Philadelphia of all places. You'd probably rather send him to Golden State. You know.
Actually, went to the Lakers. Oh, what a gift.
They're heavily linked with DeMar Rosen.
I know, which I have never wanted someone to go somewhere and win a ring more than DeMar to go to there. Obviously, than Derrick Rose to go to. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah,
he's up there. He's probably second.
Yeah.
Like for
they
someone
could get
who's
both
like
probably with what Derrick Rose were now.
that would be perfect. Like 2 people who are done in by their teams basically, beforehand, and like it'd be great to see them both get it at the same time. That would make me very happy.
And Rose. Yeah, but look, it's going to be interesting. It is the more, like, I know you look at the NFL when it's 233 picks over like 5 days. This is a night and it's 60 picks, so there's very little.
Who is who's the kind of main pick this year? Is it Melo?
It is. It's Melo is linked. Yeah, that's what they reckon. Minnesota the number 1 pick.
Is there anyone else who's
Edwards? I forget his first name escapes me. It's not a great draft compared to say last year when you had Zion.
and that is the end of our 10 minutes.
One last thing, just drawing. It's obviously because of COVID. You haven't had any college basketball this year, so it's hampered a lot of players.
Which kind of makes out that Melo will be the number 1 because he's played so much basketball over the last 12 to 18 months, I suppose.
Yeah, in terms of tape over the last 12 months, he probably has the most tape. It doesn't mean he's the best talent, though. Do you know what I mean?
He's a good shooter though, so the league might suit him now where it's kind of gone. It's not as physical as it once was.
Absolutely. Anyway, I suppose next up, your weekly dose. It's the doctor's orders.
It is indeed, yeah. Thank you. Welcome. Thank you for your...
Could you look at my rash?
What rash is that? On which
Just this
body
rash
part?
call I'm about to make. Go on.
Yeah, so I'm just going to cover the GA of what has been
Did you
this
all?
weekend. It's absolute madness.
Okay, I'll go dock you on the
it's
clock.
absolute madness that we're discussing the GAA Championship in November, but given the year that we've had, sure, look, it's okay. We go through Hurling first, so Kilkenny, oddly enough, still under the leadership of Brian Cody, have won their first Leinster title since 2015. Jeez, unheard of. I suppose Galway added into the mix there because they don't do a Munster Hurling Connacht Hurling Championship.
Connacht.
Kind of adds a bit more competition to it. So congratulations to them.
Some game. Anyone see it?
I didn't know, but I believe it was so close down to the end, but only for Kilkenny scored 2 goals in the space of 40 seconds. Or
60 seconds.
Yeah, that's
The first goal by Richie Hogan was class.
so. I believe
anyone
I
should
did
watch that
not
back.
see it, but yeah, jeez, do you know? I think I miss live hurling with a full crowd more so than live football with a full crowd.
But I think the actual product
Yeah.
of hurling stands up a lot better
It's still
in this weather
still
than football
considered
is.
the fastest field sport in the world, isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. There you go.
Well, unless ice hockey is on a field, but
Ice. Don't ever bring that up again. Ice hockey. So anyway, down south then, Limerick have done their first Munster back-to-backs for the first time since 1980 and 1981. Congratulations to you. The coaches, native Wexford, were beaten by Clare yesterday. Sorry about that, coach. And Tipperary will win over their Munster rivals Cork. So they go into a quarter-final then next week. Big win for...
Are you from Wexford?
nah, just anyone but Dublin.
That's like a
Oh,
kind
okay.
of AUB sentiment there, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Sorry, I thought you were from
Jesus.
Wexford there.
AUB.
Anyone but United. As
Anyone?
in anyone but Manchester United.
ABU.
But yeah, in 2 big results there, and I think in terms of All Ireland potential, if anyone is going to really, really challenge Dublin, given that Kerry were knocked out last week, it's probably going to be Donegal. They had a really good showing in Ulster, so they went to the Ulster final against Cavan. So a pretty big win over Armagh. And Cavan had a 1 point win over Down, but they were down by like 8 or 10 points coming into the second half, so they kind of like steamrolled away to a... Well, not steamrolled, but in the second half, like they certainly picked off the fucking scores already to get that 1 point win. So that'll be an interesting matchup.
You want to know who it won't be pushing Dublin for the All Ireland?
Go on. Yeah,
Mayo.
again, like Mayo today, they had a 1 point win over Galway, and it was their first Connacht title in 5 years
Championship
again.
game.
So,
It's also Galway's first championship game.
as a result of Sligo, yeah.
Yeah, this is following on to what we
and
were
I think,
discussing last
but
week.
I think this week there hasn't really been. There hasn't been.
Oh, you may
there
say
hasn't-
that,
there
coach.
hasn't
You
been-
may
Well, it's
say
gone
that.
full circle, isn't it?
It's gone full circle, hasn't
back.
it, guys?
There
We're back.
hasn't-
The
there
boom is
hasn't,
back, baby.
There hasn't been any positive results, I don't think, on the inter-county scene this week.
No, none that we
Not
know.
that I've read or none that we know of.
So not that we know of anyway.
But yeah, Mayo 1 point win.
Because Mayo winning
So
is
they're
a
in,
massive
But
negative.
what will
It
happen
really isn't.
is because next week then is the rest of the provincial finals. So it's going to be Dublin, Mead. Dublin had 22 point win over Laois today. Mead, I'm really looking forward to this because Mead scored 7 goals in their last out and scored 5 goals today. 9 point win over Kildare today, but
Struggling for points though.
But that goal threat,
9 points.
yeah, they only scored now about 5, 9,
Yeah.
15 points.
Yeah, we're not going to get the goal.
Not great.
You're not going to get the goal
You
chances
probably
against Dublin that you got
won't,
against
but,
Wicklow and Kildare.
You know,
Jeez, I wonder will they put an application into the first
actually
division.
really looking forward to it. Considering was it last year that it was Dublin, Meath and Leinster final and he's only scored 4 points? Sasquatch. Was that last year or the year before?
What's with the beef? What's with the beef today? There's a lot of heat being thrown about in this in this first half, and I've been a part of none of it.
Yeah, this is just strange.
This is yeah, which
I
is
was
massive.
just-
strange.
I wonder what Mead, they're scoring a lot of goals. I
Yeah,
wonder if they go
just
for an
wondering, you know-
application into the League of Ireland First Division. That's what I was getting.
Nah.
They probably should. It'd be better than someone.
Goals win games, Nick. Coach.
Cut it out. But yeah, another.
I'll tell you-
another great.
One thing I was, Doctor, one thing I was very, would you say impressed? it knocked me for six actually a little bit. Was watching the Dublin game, or the first half of the Dublin game, and the camera angle was in the opposite stand.
Shocking. It was actually
Did you
shocking.
not like it?
I
actually
didn't like it. Somebody actually commented on one of the Facebook pages and said, are they streaming this on a Nokia 3210? Now, given that Nokia 3210s, as in from like the early 90s,
Yeah.
don't have cameras,
Had no camera.
but I see their point. Yes, it wasn't a great angle, but look, not
I
gonna complain.
actually quite enjoyed it. I thought it was different.
Oh, you like change, do you?
A man of your ilk likes change as well.
Yeah, from time
Let
to
me
time
tell
I
you.
like change. But anyway, yeah. So next Saturday evening will be the Leinster final, 7:00 in Croke Park. The Cork Tipperary. I can imagine Cork will nip that, but look, you never know in the world of GAA. And then Cavan Donegal. I think everyone expects Donegal to probably win Ulster. So the scenario then is, in terms of the football, it'll be whoever wins Leinster plays whoever wins Ulster, and whoever wins Munster plays whoever wins Mayo. So could be
It's hard to say at the minute because, like, for all you know, we're going to be sitting here next week going, well, 2 of the games are cancelled because
yeah, there's
they
always
couldn't field
that.
him. And do you know what I mean? Like,
There's always
Just
that
to back you up on
potential.
that, actually, I watched Wexford and Clare yesterday, and all the Wexford team had a box at the side of the pitch. Both teams had boxes at the side of the pitch with their water bottle and maybe a towel in it
Yeah.
or something like that. But the physio runs onto the pitch with a bottle of Ballygown. One of the players takes the lid off, drinks out, and then the next player takes the lid off, and then the next player takes the lid off. And next thing you know, a few minutes later, the Mayor Rishka's running on with water bottles. Like, it's just...
Yeah,
It's just amateur hour. It's a
Yeah,
joke.
there's-
It's an absolute joke. Get it.
it is
There's a lot
it
of,
actually is amateur, mate.
Just
It is
they shouldn't
amateur
let it go
hour.
ahead then. It's elite sport.
There's a
It's
lot of there's certainly a lot of,
disgrace.
I suppose, complacency where I don't know, like, is it that kind of whole mindset of I'm an elite athlete, cannot potentially catch this virus, whereas
Here, riddle
whereas
me
you
this
at
for
the
a quick sec.
PUP can.
Are they
No.
tested at all?
They'll-
They're not.
They are
tested.
they are
They're
tested.
tested,
They're
they're
probably not tested to
They
the
are
level
tested, aren't they?
of.
Yeah.
Well, if they're not tested, how do they know that some of them have it? Put it that way. They are tested, but I just don't think it's to the level of
Any other sport.
any other sport.
And,
No.
and arguably,
It's-
some counties aren't getting tested because we had the whole situation with Louth at the start of the campaign.
Yeah.
Well,
But there's, I suppose, with in terms getting back to the action, like in terms of hurling, they do have a backdoor system. With football, they don't have a
Mhm.
backdoor system, so it's literally just straight into All Ireland semi-finals from the provincials. So certainly looking forward to, and I think it is, if I'm not mistaken, yes, it's next weekend. So Tipperary are playing Cork in the Munster Senior Football Championship, and that is the weekend of the 100, the centenary commemoration for the Bloody Sunday in
Sunday.
Croke Park, and they're going to be wearing the specially designed
Jerseys,
jersey as well. And
Is it white with a green stripe? I think?
yes, white with a
Possibly.
green stripe. So, Dublin did. I know I seen on social media that Dublin had released one, but I don't know if they're actually planning on wearing it. I haven't heard that. But just Dublin's one. is
Dublin's
lovely.
one was lovely,
I
wasn't
actually have one, and it's like an exact replica of the one. It's literally just the blue long sleeve with the
Mm.
their. Geez, I think it was just before lockdown, but it took like 6 weeks to 6 weeks to get delivered. But I'm happy I have it anyway.
it? Yeah.
yeah, look, should it be going ahead? Should it not be going ahead? We can sit here all day, and a lot of people would have quite a strong opinion both ways. It is going ahead, and I suppose it is providing some
For
For
now,
now,
of a
but I
lift.
think, I mean, it's providing somewhat of a lift. But I think if you will say have all the county boards doing some form of testing for those panels, and if you get even, we'll say, I mean, right, Sligo that had to forfeit last week
Correct.
or the week before.
yeah. Sligo didn't get to play a game in Championship.
Champions. So, I mean, could you imagine if, I suppose, they had clusters? So we'll say like, oh, the Cork squad have 3 positive tests, the Dublin squad have 5 positive tests. If you start getting a certain amount of people from each panel, then it's probably time to be like, okay, we'll stop it, we'll cut it out. Goes for all codes, I suppose, would be my opinion.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah, look, that's the whole thing about COVID, though, isn't it? You're responding to what happens in front of you. Perfect.
Very much. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
We'll take a quick break. After the break, we'll obviously have the coaches good, bad, and the ugly. We'll have Berwick's rough and tumble, and we'll also have the second fan question that's entered into the draw. We'll return shortly after a quick word from our sponsors. Hi everyone, it's the Sasquatch here from the Three Busted Barstools podcast. This episode and all episodes in season 2 are produced in partnership with the Square Ball. The Square Ball is located just off Marion Square. It has dozens of screens showing televised sport and award-winning barbecue, making it the perfect spot in Dublin to catch the game. For more information or to book in, please visit the-square-ball.com. Thanks. Hello and welcome back to the second half of episode 10 of the Three Busted Barstools, of the Busted Barstools podcast. I'm going to get stung on that one of these days. Next up, the fourth Barstool. It's the coach for his good, bad, and the ugly. You're going to have to run your own clock, run your own timer.
Well, the coach's clock is now running. So this week, the good story of the week was the special release of the Mitre Ultimax 95 to 2000 Premier League football. Christmas obviously coming up soon. Mitre decided to relaunch the football that they used from 95 to 2000 when they were the official football sponsor of Premiership. And it got me thinking, as it always does. These balls, by the way, are going for the region of £390. They made 600 600 of the balls. However, you can get yourself a replica for £27 if you're that way inclined. But it got me thinking, what piece of equipment or kit would you like to bring back and get yourself this Christmas? So I'll get you going. Mine is a Mighty Ducks jersey. So I'd like to see a little relaunch of the Mighty Ducks, and I had one when I was a kid. I had the maroony kind of Mighty Ducks jersey. That's what I'd want. But I'd want the white one this time. They had a white one as well. It was pretty slick. But yeah, around the table, around the houses, what do we think? What would you bring back?
Before we go down, I just want to those Mitre balls. Do you remember fucking playing Sunday League football with them? They were fucking foot shatterers. They used to break your foot like kicking them.
Yeah, there was a
and
lot
they
of
were
stitching.
going to ask me to pay £300 punt for them. You joking me?
It'd be more of
A lot of
a very nostalgia kind of feel. Like that'd be kind of something someone in their 30s would buy.
Yeah, well, look. when you think of
32 over here.
when you think of the ball, like I suppose it brings back, Shearer, Owen, Fowler,
When I
Bergkamp.
look at that ball, I just feel pain shoot up my rifle.
The one thing that does bother me about the ball, I've seen it, and the Mitre footballs have a little 95 in the centre of the ball, and that annoys me a little bit. So I'm guessing that they obviously don't have any permissions to use the Premiership sign. They did in the middle centre of the ball, but beneath the Mitre have a lovely little FA Premier League emblem, as it was.
Yeah, the lion.
Exactly, yeah, but that's gone. So yeah, what would you guys bring back? Obviously the Mighty Ducks jersey for myself, and a little reboot of the movies even at Christmas time would be great.
Is it bring back or just what would we like to have?
As in something from that era.
Well, like I suppose they're re-releasing, they're giving it a nice little punch. So what's something that you go, yeah, that, do you know what, that needs it. Like the kids of today need to know.
I
this.
would personally see it's kind of it's happening because of the new film, but a Space Jam jersey will be quality.
Yeah,
Like a Jordan Space Jam jersey, because then I hope they bring out a LeBron one now for the new film, but I think a Jordan one would be sick.
I like that.
A Toon Squad jersey, I believe, was the title.
That's the one, yeah. Nice little white one with a blue trim. It was nice, yeah.
Oh yeah, Lola Bunny on the back. Talk to me, baby. Talk to me.
Zach Levine wore that for the dunk contest. I don't know if you remember that one.
Oh, I remember. Massive fan of him as well.
Myself,
Yes.
it's actually quite one close to the home.
Okay.
Fingerless rugby gloves, a la
Rugby Tech.
Draco in his pomp. Yeah, the green Rugby Tech ones. Draco in his pomp, filled to the gills with sticks of dynamite.
The term in their pump just makes me so happy.
Yeah, that's something I bring back, something close to the home.
Nice.
Maybe even the Mikasa yellow
Oh, the guard gloves.
gloves.
Oh yeah, everyone and their granny owned a pair of them.
Even though you're just going to have to throw snowballs, you're sticking them on, weren't you?
Yeah,
And
they were the first original multifunction glove. Do you ever see those gloves now? Like you can see them on.
Yeah, I
No,
remember
lads
seeing
wearing them on
my
building
mum
sites.
doing the sink with them, yeah.
Ah, lads be punching windows out of cars with them. No problem. You could pick up things 200 degrees. They were literally invincible.
Doctor?
You'll often see an owl boy stripping the head with them on now as well. It's class.
Yeah, very multi-purpose.
Doctor,
I'd
anything that
say
comes to mind?
probably. I don't know if this is still on the market or not. It probably is. They've probably tailored it to the 21st century. But the Kickmaster.
Oh, what a
yeah.
shout!
Remember the Kickmaster? I can remember I had one of those.
Was that the football on a rope?
The football in
Yeah,
the
around
net
your
on
waist.
the rope. Yeah.
Yes.
And
You,
you could either
do your cruise
you
shit
could
now.
either like put it,
No.
put it around your waist, or they have like the ones where you hold it like it's as if you're holding a dog leash.
Nice.
Yeah, Kickmaster.
One, I actually have another one as well, which I ordered recently, and I got an email from them saying it was out of stock, which really upset me. Is a Harchester United jersey.
Yes.
Oh,
Dream Team
my
kit.
god,
Yeah.
yeah.
I had Fletcher 11
Fletch
on the back and everything.
I would love that.
Yeah, I ordered it off where I get all my kind of retro jerseys, and they like emailed me after like 2 weeks. I thought it was on the way, and they emailed me and were like, "Oh yeah, sorry, all the Harchester jerseys are out of stock."
Do you know what? I hate that.
Just-
That's actually really, really harsh because you know the way when you're like scrolling through social media and you see like a site and they're like, "Oh, this jersey, I ordered a I ordered a rugby training top. Now I got that. It's a sleeveless one and a Benfica jersey that was like 20 quid. And about 2 weeks later, like that, they were like, "Sorry, not in stock. We'll give you your money back." Me.
Yeah, they take the money quick
they
enough.
take it.
Yeah, that is a great one. Moving on to
What's
the bad.
what's the bad?
Yeah, we're moving on to the bad. So, France and Fiji were called off this week in the new Rugby Nations Cup. Along with that, we had Mo Salah picking up COVID with Egypt. I don't know if you saw Vida, the captain of Turkey, getting taken off at half-time due to a positive COVID test. And, you know, as a result, comes off at half-time. So what I want to know is, are we being greedy, and is it time to cancel all internationals until further notice, or at least play them over 1 week? Sasquatch.
Just a quick one. When you were reading that out and you said Mo Salah, I heard Mo Farah, and I was like, shit, I'm a celebrity now. How's that going to impact?
Yeah, so look,
I'd want to listen back. I think you did say Mo Farah. Did you?
That's what I thought anyway.
I'll have
Probably
to
did
listen
say
to that
Salah.
back. You definitely said Mo Farah.
Yeah, it's that south side.
but look, yeah, I
accent.
want to know, what do we think? Is it if players are staying within their clubs, be it rugby, football, whatever, they're staying in their bubble and they're probably not moving from obviously the country that they're in, so less chance, because now we are going to see knock-on effects massively, I think.
I personally think the issue with COVID is not, especially from a sports perspective, it's not the game, it's not the prospective countries you're in, it's the airports. Because when you're in an airport, no matter how good your protocols are, you do not know where the people around you have been or where they come from. And I just think every time we have an international window, it was Ronaldo the last time, it's Salah this time, and it's your high profile players. I mean, it just seems pointless, fruitless.
Yeah, my thinking
Yeah,
would be, see, for example, the Nations League, could we have not have brought the 4 teams together over a 1 or 2 week period and just do one international break, play their 3 games over 2 weeks, and then they're done? But
Yeah,
now
I
instead they're
think
travelling,
that's a great idea. Yeah.
because there's not a crowd anyway, so no one's missing out on gate receipts. So
Yeah, and no one's fucking circling the international break in their calendar going, "Oh, I can't bloody wait." Do you know what I mean?
yeah.
Might have also been a great time to acknowledge that the Nations League is what it is. It's a money racket, and it's
Yeah,
not a proper
It's not a proper fucking.
competition. It's just a money racket for UEFA. But yeah, look,
Well, down the line it has implications for us, so that we're now very well, we're not qualified for Europe or for the European Championship. So, and had we done better than that, maybe we could have.
Maybe we would have had a little bit of hope to not qualify, which of course killed it, as we discussed.
Moving on to the ugly, the All Blacks lost for the second game in a row. What I want to know is the aura gone? Is the All Blacks of old diminished and finished?
I'd say just a team in
Transition.
transition.
Since he was there, Steve Hansen quit, didn't he? After Tingers, he's still in charge.
Yeah. Like, I mean, you look at the All Blacks record this year. It's 5 games played. It's 2 losses, 2 wins, and 1 draw. But they've only played Australia and Argentina. Like, the Argentina result, I just appreciate it for what it was. It was phenomenal for Argentinian rugby. I don't know if you've seen the clip of Argentinian, I think it's the number 8, and there's a bit of a scrap, a bit of a schmozzle at the start. And he goes over to the referee and he goes, "He's hit one of my players. I'm playing for my country. You show me some respect." And it's like, he's a giant of a man as well. And I think it's great for Argentinian rugby. New Zealand probably are just just kind of filtering. It's the middle of a World Cup cycle, the middle of a pandemic. They'll be back.
Correct
Don't worry
me
about it.
if I'm wrong, Coach. Isn't it the first time since 2011 they've lost 2 on the bounce? Because wasn't 2011 a World Cup winning year for them as well?
Was that? Well, I think their losses came after the World Cup, didn't they?
They came after, was it?
I think. I stand
Okay,
to be
yeah, I
corrected
won't
on
argue with
one.
that.
We do have a large base of South Dublin rugby listeners, so I'm sure we'll get corrected next week if we're.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Put Slate, put it on the
Probably
post.
slated
I'm
Miller
not
to post.
I'm not big on rugby, but like 2 losses surely isn't like you wouldn't be setting off the fire alarm, like. Do you know what I mean?
But I suppose it's more that it's very, very rare that the All Blacks lose one
Yeah.
game, but to lose 2 in a row is.
It's also like Australia have been in the doldrums for the last few years, if we're being quite pragmatic and ugly about it, and it's Argentina's first game in over 400 days, obviously following up from the World Cup. Didn't have any games between then and Christmas, and haven't had any games since, so it's 400 days, I think, plus since Argentina had the last game. It's New Zealand's 5th game in 6 or 7 weeks.
Yeah.
So that too, I just think, yeah, look,
You'd have,
appreciate it for what it was, a phenomenal Argentinian performance.
you'd have to fancy your chances if you were coming up against the All Blacks.
Yeah, oh yeah, you'd fancy, but I fancy my chances playing against Ireland at the minute.
Well, that's the other side of it. So that has been this week's
It's amazing.
Go Bad and the Ugly.
Yeah. So I guess thanks for tuning in
Yes.
for this week's episode. We will
Just
see you all next week.
just on that, sorry, just
nah.
to not face the South Dublin rugby following backlash.
Oh, thank God.
Hey,
Oh, thank God.
They lost 2 matches in succession by South Africa and Australia in 2011. Yes, and the time before
So-
that was 2009. And then they lost 2 games in a row at home was like 1998. Yeah.
So there you go, Quinton.
20, yes, Quinton, 2011. So a full 9 years was the last time the All Blacks lost 2 test matches in a row.
Thanks for that talk.
They don't call me the doc
No.
for nothing. They don't call me the last bastion of
Arguably.
research for nothing.
Arguably the potentially the most explosive part of this week's episode.
no, this is gonna be calm. This is gonna be calm because
It is.
I think I listened to this week's fan question and I'm gonna save my
Explosion.
gusto for that.
It's Berwick's Rough and Tumble, proudly brought to you in partnership with the Square Ball.
Yeah,
Like
it's
everyone
well,
else.
yeah, like everything else we do. Coach,
Beric, you're on the clock, baby.
yeah.
Don't call him baby again.
Yeah, this week we had a couple of great fights. I won't go into the one that I really want to talk about because I think we have a question about that. So as we've kind of alluded to throughout the show, we did have the return of Terence Crawford this week, who arguably, depending on what side the fence you're sitting on, is top 3 pound for pound. He fought Kell Brook in Eddie Hearn's. Oh no, it wasn't. It was in Vegas. Sorry, in the bubble in Vegas. Knocked him out in the 4th round pretty convincingly. Terence Crawford, if you haven't seen him box before, just go on and look at his highlights on YouTube. He's just, I'd say, you don't want to be throwing around the word like masterful an awful lot, but Terence Crawford, when he boxes, like, he can switch stances, he can knock you out, he can outpoint you. Like, there's nothing the bloke can't do, if you know what I mean. Like, and if you actually enjoy watching boxing, Terence Crawford is your man to tune into. But he knocked him out in the 4th round fairly comfortably, retained his titles. So hopefully there's a fight with him and maybe Earl Spence kind of coming up. Well, nothing's been official, but that would be the fight that I kind of like to see. 2 lads, probably top 5 pound for pound in the world. Just for sheer enjoyment, it would be a serious fight. UFC was also on last night. Paul Felder fought Dos Anjos. There was a bit of a, well, it's not even controversy anymore. Felder lost the fight. He took it on 3 days' notice. He cut 20 pounds in 3.5 days to make lightweight, which is, for anyone who's like even attempted a diet, knows how hard it is to lose weight. Never mind water cutting and all that stuff. So, like, the fact that he even made the weight for the fight in itself is a massive
That
achievement.
should not
But
be allowed, should it?
when you're a professional athlete with 10% body fat, it is water manipulation, really. You know, that kind of way. He's not, like, it's very hard, it's very difficult. It's probably not the best thing for you, but it's just the nature of the sport. Like, you know that kind of way. Actually, One Championship are the only kind of MMA organization that have kind of changed the game in terms of weight cutting. They actually do hydration tests all through camp, so you can't say cut huge amounts of water for your fight. So their divisions are all up one, if you know what I mean. So in UFC, in Bellator, lightweight is 155, whereas in One, lightweight is 170, because that's what the athletes would weigh before they start their weight cut, if you know what I mean. So everything is up one.
So myself
Like-
and Sasquatch should fight in One rather than UFC if we were to go that way.
Well, it'd be nearly
Super
hard.
heavyweights the same, mate.
Yeah,
doesn't
super
it?
heavyweights all around. But it's harder to make the weight in the sense that you need to be that weight, whereas a lot of fighters kind of obviously they're all in incredible physical condition, but like muscle weighs quite a lot, as you know. Also, there was a Bellator on Friday, and our very own, well, he's not our own, and I suppose he is our own, I'm going to call him our own, Pedro Carvalho. He's a SPG fighter. He's Portuguese, but he trains in Ireland. He fought for the featherweight world championship in Bellator. He was knocked out, not unluckily, but he was beaten. He's only 25, so hopefully in the future Pedro will be back and maybe get another belt in MMA for Irish MMA. That would be ideal, guys. No.
Yeah.
Questions wise, I don't really have a question for you this week because
I have
I'm
a question.
saving it
Dos
for-
Anjos called out
Yeah.
McGregor after the
He
fight.
did. Yes.
I have a follow-up question to that as well.
And McGregor on Twitter kind of said, yeah, it's grand, he's going to do his thing in January,
Mhm.
but he kind of accepts as such.
Yeah.
Is that a goer, really? Like, Dos Anjos, where does he stand in the kind of... he's not even in the top 10, is he? Currently?
See, Dos Anjos is a weird one because he jumps between weight classes.
Yeah.
He's kind of between 55 and 70. But yeah, there's no reason it shouldn't be a goer. Like, he's a very good fighter. I think he said it himself in one of his press conferences there last night. Like, over the last couple of years, like, the only undisputed lightweight champions have been him, Eddie Alvarez, Khabib, and Conor. So Khabib's retired. Eddie Alvarez is in one. they're the only two there. All the rest have been interim champions. Like Tony Ferguson's been interim champion. Poirier's been an interim champion. Gaethje's been an interim champion. Like so.
So if Poirier beats McGregor,
Mm.
would you say it's a Dos Anjos Poirier, or is it a Dos Anjos McGregor next step
Dos Anjos McGregor, I'd say.
for?
Because Poirier, if Poirier beats McGregor, he deserves the belt. Like,
Yeah.
like he. See, this is why I nearly. It's hard to argue that the belt should be on the line for that fight, because if McGregor wins, he technically doesn't deserve to jump straight back in for a title. Whereas if Poirier wins, it's like he should get the belt.
He's gone through that.
Wait, who's got the
Yeah.
belt currently? It's vacant.
See, Dana White came out recently and said that Khabib's actually not retired, so Khabib still has the belt apparently.
Right.
So it's hard to say, because see now Khabib's manager is on Twitter and all, like tweeting #30-0. So I know I'm really not a fan of it. I hope he just stays retired. But like, you know,
I just have a question as well, if that's okay to follow up.
Mm.
Just which man, Paul Felder, obviously stepping in what you said, 3.5 days
Yeah,
notice.
yeah,
I haven't seen the fight now, but is my understanding it went the distance, did it?
yeah, yeah.
Is that not harmful to, say, Dos Anjos' reputation, that someone could step in on 3.5 days notice and take the fight the distance? Or am I reading too much in between that?
No, he was dominated for the fight.
That's I know,
lost
I've read
every
that,
round.
but still, yeah.
Paul Felder is a savage. Like he's a genuine savage. Like he took Dan Hooker the distance in the fight before this. Like he's a notoriously tough fighter to finish kind of at the best of times. So I wouldn't read into it too much as a negative to being taken at distance with him. What I do have a massive issue with, what I wanted to bring up, the judging again was called into fucking question last night. So basically, the fight went the distance with Dos Anjos and Felder, and two of the judges gave it 50-45 for Felder, or for Dos Anjos, sorry, which is every round 10. You know, the 10-point scoring system. So every round for Felder, apart from one judge who gave it 49-48 for Felder. So it was a split decision as opposed to a unanimous
I
decision.
seen a meme about that, alright, yeah.
But in no world did Felder win one round, never mind win 3 rounds. So basically, I ended up going down the rabbit hole of Twitter, as you know. You click on one link, you click on 10 links, and it just keeps going. This particular judge is like notorious for giving rounds the opposite way. Like Kamaru Usman fought Dos Anjos.
Prankster, like.
It's unbelievable. Like Dos Anjos fought Kamaru Usman a while ago, before Usman had the belt. So Usman's the welterweight champ, and Usman beat the piss out of him for 25 minutes. Like, beat the shit out of him. And your man gave Dos Anjos the first 2 rounds. Like, in no way did Dos Anjos win 1 minute of that entire fight. Never mind a round. Never mind 2 rounds. So, like, do you know what? I'll give you a question, but it's not really a question. It's kind of common sense. Like, do you think that the UFC and MMA in general should move forward in maybe getting ex-fighters in to judge fights, or maybe running some form of courses for judges? Because at the moment, the way judging works is the athletic commissions come in and go, oh, these people judge boxing fights. Boxing's a notoriously corrupt sport. Let's have them judge MMA. You know, that kind of way. So surely there's a way that we could...
Who does that come down to, though? Would that be... Because do you know the way they have to... Each state they go to, they have the athletic commission or whatever. So who...
Yeah.
Like, would you have to... Who would you have to work for? Like, would the UFC not just have judges? Would they just...
what I think is the issue is when you're being sanctioned by the athletic commission, they provide you with the judges. Is basically the way it works. So if you want your sanctioning, you need to
Yeah, it could be
play ball.
it could certainly be a mix of both. Definitely former players and probably courses as well. And yes, you're absolutely right. Boxing is notoriously corrupt. Speaking of which, I was on social media yesterday, and somebody had shared the video of Michael Conlan's Olympic fight. Remember the one that he clearly fucking won and was robbed off, and he was coursing and swearing
didn't hold back telling
and this,
everyone.
that, and the other. Yeah, so yeah, I reckon. Yeah, kind of a mixture of both.
That particular
If-
fight
if-
is like, I think that's one of the worst like ever in terms
Yeah.
of corruption. As in amateur boxing, your scores, like, it's a lot easier to score than professional boxing, as the rules are, if you land a clean shot is a point. So like Conor was like given like
Unbelievable, Jeff.
unbelievable. Just to
that
finish
point,
that
yeah.
off, Conor
Yeah.
was hitting was hitting your man like clean, visible shots that weren't being scored, which like what their particular gripe was with Conor, because I don't think your man won goal, did he? The fella that beat Conor. Now I could be wrong there.
No, I think.
But I'm
no,
fairly sure he
don't-
didn't.
I think he got bronze. Did he not lose the third, fourth place one?
Yeah, so like it's not even as if they were going, oh yeah, like there was a few brown envelopes thrown under, being like, oh, this is the fella that is gonna win. Like we'll let him off for this fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it was just
Just-
bad, just badness. Like
Just a note on ex-players becoming officiators or officials. It's a problem across the board, across
Yeah.
sports in general. I don't know how many professional Premier League footballers go on to become managers, how many ex-rugby players. I think Glenn Jackson's the only one that springs to mind. He's played with Saracens. I think it's it genuinely is an issue, and like the UFC is still a very young sport. I don't know if you've seen the videos up. 1993, the anniversary was this week,
yeah,
and when you look at some of the video clips, it's come a long way. That clip of that one fella with just one boxing glove,
Oh, yeah.
and a bare fist,
You have to be able to
a sight to
grapple.
behold. and a pair of Air Jordans as well.
yeah,
You know, I think it's a
yeah.
universal sport.
I just think the judging, like, it's always been bad. Do you know that kind of way? And I don't think it's getting, like, it doesn't seem to be getting better anytime soon. It seems to be going the other way nearly,
yeah.
which doesn't bode well for the sport. But look, I'm sure that there'll be something that they can figure out with it. Like, but
With the UFC, it could be just the sheer volume of fights they're having, that they just don't have the depth of officials to cover all those fights.
yeah, and no. Like, it's only 3 people, you know, that kind of way. Which also kind of leads. There's another argument that Joe Rogan always goes on about, is maybe there needs to be more judges. Like, you could have a panel of 7 judges, or you could have a panel of 9 judges, and
But that's
Like,
the thing. Imagine
I'm
having
sure-
instead of 7 judges and your man still scores it the way he did. Like, what happens then? He gets the sack.
well, yeah,
should do.
basically, yeah. Why
I joke,
why
I
not?
joke.
Like, do you know what I mean?
I joke.
Yeah, me scusi. But like, surely there's a way that you could, like, say you did go for, say, 7 or 9 judges or whatever. Like, if you were to then, like, you don't have to use, say, all 9 judges' scorecards, but you could say have 9 judges score the fight, and then take the ones that are similar. Do you know that kind of way? Like, or I'm sure there's a way of doing it, like, because say you have 6 or 7 judges, right, and 6 of them have it for one fella, like, winning all the rounds, and fucking the other lad has it for the other bloke. You know what I mean? You're kind of then going, wait a second. Whereas when it's 2, or when it's 3, sorry, you're kind of giving it, like, there's a little bit more wiggle room for
Yeah.
dirtiness.
3 is a bit tight, isn't it? When you think of it,
Isn't
like,
that like
it's very
yeah.
tight. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, look, I think let them fight till the death. That's the only solution.
Wouldn't count
Well, anyway-
unless he kills him.
We have one more final question, and I'm going to play this, and I'm going to leave the room. Now we jump in. Message was received from a Brendan in Terranure.
Really enjoyed last week's episode. Thanks for that. Question here, and I'm sure Beric will have a good opinion on this. Katie obviously fought last night, looked amazing. Should have finished her. I'm sure she'd be disappointed at that, and critics will, I'm sure, point that out. But my question is around, she's obviously at the top of the world now. She's 34. Realistically, has 2-3 years left there. So in boxing terms, probably 5-6 fights. At this stage, everything is about legacy for her, and she mentioned that 3 or 4 times last night. Do you think last night's fight added to her legacy in terms of the quality of opponent? I'm just wondering, do you guys think that maybe that was a bit of a waste of a fight? If she only has a certain amount left, should Eddie Hearn and the team not be doing more to get people that are of better quality, are going to attract more of a, I suppose, attention, potentially other champions in the light welterweight, etc. Be interested to get your thoughts on that. I understand that the Spanish one was a mandatory challenger, but is it a waste of a fight, and has it added to her legacy?
I do you not think though?
I thought let's focus on the positives.
Oh yeah,
Katie was
Yeah,
absolutely phenomenal, and that fight should have been
Should
stopped.
have been stopped, yeah.
That fight should have been stopped.
Yeah, probably.
That was a masterclass in speed and the technical aspects of pugilism.
but there's definitely
a
stronger.
masterful performance, you might say.
There is definitely stronger fighters out there, and there has been. Like, who was on the panel last night? Natasha.
Sorry, say that for me once more. There is stronger fighters out there. You said, is there?
Not stronger than Katie, but there's in
Gutierrez.
general there's a
For
strong
opponents, kind of.
Yeah, like
Such as who?
Terry Harper, but on the fight beforehand, I think will be one.
She, bigger than Katie, is she not? No.
Well, they could fight.
What's
But see, this is one thing now that I have a massive issue, right? And they're throwing. Right, I'll stick with one now at the moment.
Well, okay, take Natasha though on the panel.
Yeah, I want that fight. I would love to see that fight.
But so there is stronger opponents out there.
How do you know she's a stronger opponent? What is she a stronger opponent based on?
Well, Gutierrez last night. If you look at her past, she hasn't fought an opponent who's had more than I think one of her opponents had 10 fights.
Well, if you were to go down your one, Natasha's record, have you done that?
No.
It would be very similar. The other thing is, like, this is going back to, it's something that we always talk on this podcast. It's like, why do we like constantly like try and punish people for being better than everyone else? Like, Katie is the best women's boxer there is, like, and like you could put her in there with anyone at that weight and it's going to look the same. Everyone
So is your answer that there is no one?
So this
Like,
is sorry.
Gutierrez is as good as she's going to get.
Well, Gutierrez, like, hold on a minute, guys, right? And I know that Brendan said it there a minute ago, but the way boxing works is there is mandatory challengers for every belt, and she is the mandatory challenger. Katie didn't turn around and go, "Oh, Eddie, Jesus, try and get some Spanish bird there, will you, so I can poke the head of her." Do you know what I mean? Like, that is the mandatory. Like, that's how boxing operates. Like, there is specific challengers that need to be, like, beaten if you want to defend all your belts, which Katie done last night. The next thing is that people keep on going on about this Cyborg fight. Cyborg, for people who don't know, is a woman's MMA fighter who is notorious for knocking people out. Right, that's okay. What weight does Katie fight at? Lightweight and light welterweight, which is 60 kilo and is 63.5 kilo. Your one Cyborg, not to say throw it in the dirt, but she has failed a drug test previously in her career. If you look at her, she is a giant woman. That woman struggles, now I mean, like, seriously struggles to get down to 66 kilo to fight MMA. How in the name of God is she going to get to 63 kilo? So then what they're doing, what's obviously going to be looked for then is her to move up. So, like, then Katie's automatically at a massive disadvantage because she has to move up in weight. So then what happens then? She beats her. So let's say, for argument's sake, and then it's like, oh well, she was an MMA fighter. What's that like? The same way when Mayweather beat Conor, people just went, oh well, obviously he was going to beat him. He's the boxer. Okay, that's a fair enough argument. So then, let's say, argument's sake, she beats her. Who's the next person she's going to fight? Clarissa Shields, who's the next big name in boxing, 10-0 undefeated Olympic champion. She fights at 75 kilo. So what's this now? Katie's going to go 15 kilo to fight her, like, to get these like these names. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, where does it stop?
I think there is though a thing about, say, fight fans, or even just general public who enjoy watching fighting. You want to see the rumble in the jungle. You want to see this fight that is going to... You can always say, I seen Katie when she fought so-and-so, and she was phenomenal, and it was an unreal fight. She stood toe to toe, and at the end of it, she was... Her fists were raised, she was the winner. Yeah. That's where I think sometimes people are coming from, and I think a lot of it too is you can't hide in MMA, you can't hide in the UFC, you can... If you look at the male counterparts, you can, to an extent, hide.
Yeah, but boxing has a notoriously bad culture for that. To not seeing the fights that should be seen until people are kind of past the prime. This is why I always, on like every week on my segment, I'm always going back to that division. The Gervonta Davis, Lomachenko, Lopez division, because they're all in their prime and there's fights there to be made. It's the same with Crawford and Spence. And then there's other good lads in that as well, like his name escapes me now. Anyway, there's people there that need to just be put together, like the heavyweights, Joshua, Wilder, Fury, Ortiz, whoever else you want to add into that. Like, you can't... I understand people are saying, being like, oh yeah, well, Katie just goes out there and she just... Like, she did batter a woman last night. I am not saying that she didn't. But, like, when say Bayern Munich go out and batter someone in the Champions League final, like, what's the difference there? Like, do you know what I'm saying? Like, that's I suppose that's who got there.
Bad Brendo's question, just to rephrase a part of it that I'm hearing, is there 5 or 6 fights out there worth Katie having? Is there 5 or 6 people out there that is actually worth, like, is there? Like, I suppose, is there 5 or 6 people better than what we've got last night that is worth Katie putting her, career on the line for?
Her health on the line.
Yeah.
See, like, it's just... But it's like any kind of fight, really. Like, you're always going to be out there putting your health or whatever it is on the line, your career on the line. But, like, that's what she enjoys to do. Like, you don't have to tell someone to stop playing golf on Thursday. And she hasn't specifically... Like, she's had however many amateur boxing fights. She's 17-0 now. She hasn't really taken a lot of damage. No. And one thing I will say as well that goes massively under the radar, your one Delphine Persoon that she fought the last 2 times is a fucking savage. And people just go, oh, well, whatever. Like, she's just brushed her in the carpet. Oh, who's Katie fought? She done 20 rounds of her, like, off the back foot. Like, your one is a mutant. Just walked forward the entire 20 rounds on Katie. And then, like, but people were turning around there last night. I heard your man, Johnny Nielsen, saying it before the fight. Like, oh, is Katie's best days behind her? She didn't look great in the last 2, in her last 2 fights. Yeah, because they were against her. And, like, it's, like, she was on the back foot the whole time. You seen there last night when Katie was able to go forward, which she done, what she established in the first 30 seconds of the fight. What she done. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, she's an aggressive boxer. She's not a counter puncher. She's not like Mayweather. She won't sit back and play like Philly shell and real defensive and be picking you off. Like, Katie goes forward. She is a killer. Like, you know what I mean? But your one Persoon was bigger and able to take Katie shots, so she had to outbox her. It's not to say that she couldn't outbox her. It's just that's not her go-to style.
One quick, I know we're
probably...
Go on, Sass.
I was going to say, is it probably a wider issue? Is it probably a lack of respect shown towards the women, women's boxing? Maybe.
Probably.
That probably the issue where at hand.
Yeah, like, one of my mates turned around last night and, like, even was like, Katie needs to stop fighting housewives. And you're going, what do you want her to do? Like, I guarantee that all these women that Katie's boxed head off 90%.
Oh.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
as discussed when I watched last night, I go, like, she appears miles better than Gutierrez, and I was like, and Gutierrez would kill me. like, I wouldn't last 10 seconds. And
it's just it's kind of like, it's like everything though, isn't it? There's always a negative put behind it. Like, there's always spawn in it. in a negative light, like, you know, that kind of way.
Well, I suppose if you wanted to rephrase Brendan's question, could you say, is there anyone there to challenge Katie?
Not at those weights. Now, if she did move up to, say, 66 or whatever, now that could be a different story. Just by physicality alone, now, see, I think she's the best technical boxer like we've ever seen. Like,
Male or female.
Maybe not male or female, but definitely, certainly in the women's game. And she wouldn't be far off in the male's game. But at those weights now, and I really, really, really want her to pummel the face off your one. What's it, Natasha? Yeah, Natasha, whatever her surname is. She cannot, like, she was on the last Pursuing fight as well, covering it. They need to stop having her do coverage for it because it's painful to watch. Like she is a clown. She's going on about. Did you hear her at the end of it? It's like, oh, Katie called me out recently. No, she didn't. No, she didn't.
Katie doesn't call anyone out.
Like, Katie doesn't call anyone out. What? Like, what? Don't lie about it. Like, do you know what I mean?
Katie didn't even call her elbow out. Like, she didn't call anyone out.
Like, I just would really like to see her fire. And like, it's grand sitting in the studio being like, oh yeah, I want to fight Katie Taylor, until the contract arrives at your door and it's like, right, you're fighting Katie Taylor on this date
in the Dunstores car park.
Yeah, sign that.
No gloves, no friends.
Yeah, on the undercard of Crazy Martin. Do you know what I mean? Like, I do really want to see it, because I think people need to appreciate what we're actually seeing when Katie Taylor fights. Like, just the level that she operates at is criminal. Like,
I think it's going to be similar to LeBron
because
when he retires.
Super passionate. Yeah, it's
when he retires.
It's nearly like I do find there's like a reverse recency bias, isn't there? Like, it's
yeah,
like, because it's going on right now. Like, it's people.
Well, the reason.
Like Dublin, like, do you know what I mean? Like, Dublin done the 5 in a row or whatever, but like every year before they won their next one, people were going, this is Mayo's year. Do you know what I mean? It's just constantly like there's somebody else every year, but like,
yeah, I think what happens is, as time goes on, you forget their mini failures. Like, say with LeBron, like if he loses to the Denver Nuggets, that might be brought up for 3 or 4 weeks if he like misses a game in shot, but 10 years time, everyone's forgotten that and they just remember the final score.
Yeah,
I've nothing else to, I suppose, add on that.
Yeah, look, I'm ready to wrap it up.
Yeah, we wrap it up. So,
Barrick,
wrap it up.
take us home.
Brilliant. Another good week in the bag, gents. I think we're even though there was a lot of heat thrown around the first couple of minutes, but look, we got through it together, because that's what we do. We're a team. The Buster Barstools are a team. Anyway. Thanks to everyone for listening, as always. Please don't be afraid to follow us on the social medias, the Buster Barstools on Instagram. See, I'm getting it now. I have it. It just rolls off the tongue. It's flawless now. Thanks everyone. Doctor for his consummate professionalism on the research front. Coach for always sparking a nice debate. I love you, Coach.
You're a great guy. I'd do anything for you, Skip.
I'd do anything for you. I'd do anything for you, Coach. Hear me? Sasquatch, the glue, as always, keeping it real. And I have been Barrick Dundarian. Thank you, good night. Much love.
Are you kidding me? That's right. Who do you think you are?